Uh-oh. Let's... Let's see. Will image slideshow pop up? Media, display window. Add image slideshow. Oh, I see, it won't do Keynote. That's what I get for using Apple. Oh, copy. PowerPoint. Oop. How do I download this as a movie? Download copy. Export. File, export movie. Yeah, that's not an option. I did end up saving it. Technology once again confounds me. Alright, share. Nope, not that one. Okay. Let's see, did Google Slides butcher this? It's not too bad. File. No, not a Zoom call. File. Download as a... No, I want it to be a movie. Why can't I just make this into a short little movie? I fear this is a losing endeavor. Those just have to be slides. I hope your final chapter. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why it's not giving me any notifications when this comes up. Uh-oh. Oh no, what did I do to chat? No, come back, chat. Stream. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so where are all... Oh no. Hi, Mr. Kitty. Hello, are you gonna help me? Are you gonna help me write this book? Please help me write this book. Kitty, kitty. Come here. Please help me write this book. No. Don't escape your duties. You're the editor. You have to write this book, Mr. Kitty. It's the only way. You have to learn how to type. Yeah. Please write this book, Mr. Kitty. It's our only hope. You have to learn. Quick, type. Type the rest of the book. No. Well, guess we have to do it, you guys. I don't wanna. This is literally my nightmare, having to write this book. I can't see if Twitch can see anything. Is that because I have another chat open? Oh. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna have to manually swap that. So I'm gonna just set a timer. 3 minutes probably sounds good. Let's make something with... Ooh, that was good. Okay. So we're just gonna have to set that to every 3 minutes, I guess, because I do not understand fully the concept of how to run any of this. But we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done, you guys. Notifications. Dropped frame rate detected. Don't know how to fix that. No idea how to do that. Okay. Okay. So, we are on chapter... Let's see here. I'm not going to count fully finished chapters because that is too depressing. It's probably impressive, but I'm just kind of hard on myself when it comes to doing any of this stuff. So, let's check our thumbnails here. I'm writing this whole thing in Pages too because I am a slave to the Apple ecosystem, but I don't have a Mac PC, which is part of the reason why a lot of this is just not working out for me. I haven't decided whether or not a Mac is really worth it for me or not, because it seems to only mess up the last like 10% of this whole process, and I don't know if that necessarily one of the chapter headings got messed up. Yeah, I don't know if is that gonna mess up all of my chapters? Oh, Pages, you bitch. The good news is it exports as an EPUB, so that's kind of great. Because one of the things that I learned from doing this process the first time with writing Bite, which is a vampire romantasy book with a sunshine vampire and a grumpy farm girl that go on an adventure. There's some court intrigue, and I think the most feedback I've gotten on it is that it reminded one of the readers of From Blood and Ash from Jennifer Armentrout, which I have yet to read. Don't spoil it. It is in my book club, which you guys are all welcome to join. I need to put that link on my Twitch. All of these things like expire after, oh no, where did I put it? All of these things expire after like 30 days, so I'm gonna have to like constantly put that back up, which is low-key a bit annoying. But I'm pretty sure you guys can just find me on Goodreads. It is the Bird Flock. Goodreads. I'm so disorganized. This whole process stresses me out the most because I'm way more organized than this, but I have no idea really what I'm doing. So it's like thrown everything into complete chaos, which I'm not gonna lie is kind of stimulating, but it is also real scary to not just have everything lined up in order of like, oh, do this and then do this and then do this and then do this, it just is so much nicer for my brain. But where do we have the book club here? The book club is free to join, and I'm taking any romantasy recommendations that you guys have, because I've read a couple. I read the whole ACOTAR series, and I liked it, but I think that there were things that would have made it more fun, because I really liked the Witcher series, and I wish that there was maybe a little bit more spice and something like that. But I did get recommended, it's under Bird Flock Book Club, and it's got like a little black kind of culty thing there. I also need to make my branding more consistent so it's easier to find, but it's hard when you can't have all of your usernames be the same, because I joined this party kind of late. So let's see, try and focus. So we have a Bird Flock Book Club, and you guys can join that for free, and I have a couple of books on there. So I need to read From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout, and then I also, oh yeah, that's what it was. I got recommended Shield of Sparrows, and I heard that that's kind of like The Witcher, but like sexy. And so I'm definitely going to be reading that. And then if you are not really a fan of saucy books, don't know why you're here, a lot of them are. But I also really liked Heir Apparent by Vivian Van Velde. That is one of my early favorites. It's got kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of vibe. It talks about VR gaming like 20 years before VR gaming was a thing. And it's basically like a like kind of a Kingsmoot sort of a situation where this character has to battle the king's other children to like ascend to the throne potentially. And if she dies in the game, she dies for real, like one of those tropes. But it was really fun to read, and I think that the author did a really good job of going through and like mapping out the potential. I thought she must have some sort of a gaming background because it was really immersive. And I'm going to reread that for, I think, the second or third time here soon. She does have an audiobook for Heir Apparent, but don't get the old lady voice because that one is bottom tier audiobook. So make sure that you're picking the correct audiobook, because I made that mistake, and so then I had to return the one which I felt super bad about. And then get the other audiobook. So make sure you grab the right audiobook for that one for your ears. Okay. Oh, that's right. We were doing chapters. So it looks like I guess I could just go chapter by chapter. So chapter 1, Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Is Chapter 3 where I have to go back through? Yeah, Chapter 3 I have to add a flashback scene in there to tie it into a theme from Chapter... Where's it at? Chapter 23. So I, wrote 20 chapters, basically, and then was like, oh, it would make more sense if I put, a small scene in Chapter 3. So Chapter 3 doesn't count as being done now. So I have to publicly lash myself about that, because I was so close, guys. I was so close to being with Chapter, let's see. I do have everything titled, so that is a personal win, but it does make it harder to figure out where I've actually landed as far as finishing the book. I think I finished up to chapter... Okay, so I finished Chapter 17, Exit Wounds. That one's good. Chapter 18, Reverb and Restraint. I know it sounds like a BDSM book, but there's only, a very small BDSM scene in here, which is hilarious. I really want it to be narrated kind of similarly to how they narrated Lights Out, because it's kind of meant to be funny but sexy, but the scene kind of short, so I don't know. The entire book is kind of dry, kind of gritty, but I need to... Okay, so what chapter am I in? This book is huge and much smaller than Bite, which is crazy to me. So far I only have 50,000 words, and this should round out at about 65,000, somewhere around there. And then, of course, I have to go back through and fix the cover, because I got the cover done before I finished the book, which was great for motivational purposes, because I was like, yay, the cover's done, awesome. But really terrible for the way that Kindle does their cover, because if you don't have the PDF file exactly perfect, their cover creator program is garbage. So you have to relearn how to do Photoshop, because you haven't done anything on Photoshop for about a decade. And then you have to put everything in this little template. And I accidentally put my placeholder for my author photo in Bite the second to last time that I did revisions. And it fucked up all of the chapters for at least a third of the book, so it messed up all of my proof copies, and I'm so mad because I gave it to this girl that I know to go through and be like, hey, I don't understand how chapters work. Can you tell me when it would be appropriate to put a chapter head here? Because I was just mind hopping in that book, which felt really normal and natural to me, because originally I had the book set up in location, POV, 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 new location, POV, POV, POV. And that just felt weird. And somebody suggested I should make chapter titles. And I was like, yeah, I'll just do chapter titles. But then I got rid of the location. So now it's just POV, 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 POV. And then I was like, well, I should probably separate those. I don't want to do a different chapter for every POV, because some of the POVs are 2 pages long. So that seems crazy, right? And then we have 75 chapters, which seems excessive for a 99,000 word book. So there's a lot going on in my brain that just kind of doesn't have anything attached to it. But the book is good. I haven't gotten any bad feedback on it, which is suspicious. There's no way that everybody just loves this book. There's got to be something just awful and terrible that I've missed in the 10 times that I've read this book, right? Does anybody else feel like that when they write? There's got to be something in there that's just total ass that everybody's just afraid to tell me. They're like, oh, the dialogue in chapter 13 is actually super mid. But nobody's said anything about that. So I don't know what to improve on it, which is also grating on my nerves a bit, because I would really love to make it the best it could possibly be and then go on to book 2, because that's just how I would prefer to do it. And that gives me lots of leeway to completely ignore the fact that I have no idea what direction book number 3 is going to go in, but I do have the most delicious cover for that, but I can't do the cover until I've written at least a third of the book as a reward. And my my illustrator is just amazing. Have you guys seen the cover? Let's see here. If I can open up Kindle. You know what? I don't have to open up Kindle. I literally just have the pages. Where the feedback ends. Yeah, not now. Yes, not now. Oh, don't mess up the formatting. I'll cry. I'll literally cry if it messes up the formatting. It'll be far too much. Okay. So this is my first novel, Bite. It is a vampire romance, and it's about a sunshine vampire, ironically, and a grumpy farm girl that go on an adventure because he has been ousted from the country that he's in, and there's political intrigue. There is a super militant villain, and there is some aversion to creatures of the porcine variety. So that one was really fun to write, but I need so desperately to finish this book because this is a contemporary fiction that I just decided to write while I was waiting for the cover for Bite to be imagined. And now I've set a June deadline, and guys, I don't think I'm going to make this June deadline. I have to make this June deadline, though. There is only 2 weeks, and I have 6 chapters to write. And as long as I can complete those 6 chapters, I can spend... It'll probably only take me like 2 weeks, honestly, to go back through and do the editing, because I have that bit pretty well nailed down. But I need to write these 6 chapters. You guys have to punish me if I don't finish this book, because I need to finish this book so that I can start on book 2 of the Bite series, which is going to be Thirst. And then we can make the cool cover together, which I'm super, super stoked on the cover. Rachel, I believe it's Rachel Ross, if I'm remembering correctly. I talked to a couple of people, but she was just phenomenal. Oh, wait, it's right here. I put her in the copyright page because she did such a phenomenal job, and she needs to be recognized. She was amazing. Don't book her up too much, guys. I need her for 2 more novel covers. Be chill about that. I should have gatekept that, but I got too excited, which is a reoccurring theme. So she was fantastic. I cannot wait to work with her again. And then, so I need to finish Where the Feedback Ends, which is the book that I'm currently ignoring writing right now so that I can yap at you guys, which is part of the reason why we are 2 weeks till my June deadline, and I'm not finished with the book. I was supposed to be finished with the book by now, and I'm not. So I've pushed the deadline twice. Not allowed to push the deadline anymore. I have 6 more chapters to write, and we can do it. One of those chapters isn't even really a chapter, it's an epilogue. It can be as long as short as I want. And I already know everything that's going to happen in the chapter, so I have no idea why it's so hard for me to just write the chapters. Does anybody else feel like that when they write? Because it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I wish it were not so, but it is so, and we've got to do it. Because when I finish Where the Feedback Ends, I can either choose your own adventure, start mapping out book 2, Thirst, of the Born in the Eternal series, which stars a white-haired psychopath and a villainess. And I'm really, really excited to write that. I've already written kind of a lot of the naughty scenes for that, and I think that that is going to be really fun. And I got to write a little bit of like a, not a fight scene per se, because that would imply that it was anybody's game, and it wasn't. But I got to write like a battle scene kind of, and that was really fun. And I am dabbling into like explaining more the magic elements of this book, because it's really sparse, but it's really intricately woven into the story, and then it like busts completely open in book 3. And there is a Slavic daddy in that book that's going to be really, really fun, I think, to have illustrated. the book cover is delicious, you guys. You guys are gonna love it. It's even better than book 1, and I think book 2 is gonna be very like feminine rage kind of looking, and that'll be cool. But book 3 has Dimitri, the fucking vampire daddy, on the cover of that, and it is gonna be so delicious. I already have the image in my head, and it's fabulous. I cannot wait for Rachel to illustrate that. It's gonna be sick. And I'm realizing now that she was on my mind so much that I actually wrote her into book 4 inadvertently, because I was like, oh, what a cool name. How excellent. Why don't I just put her in there? Like a total fool. So hopefully she doesn't notice that. Maybe I have her make that cover too, just like as a little Easter egg for her. Except I don't know that she will like that because her character dies tragically in that book. But she's very sweet and very well loved. So hopefully she doesn't take that as a personal offense and takes it more as a professional nod to how awesome she is and how everybody can't wait to see her and is very devastated when she's not there. So, oh yes. So book 2 is Thirst. And that one is Psychopath plus Villainous. That one's going to be really fun. It explains to you sort of the deeper workings of vampirism in this world, in this compendium. I still have yet to name the world, so if anybody wants to name the world, I think I should give them credit for that in the book, because I have no idea. I am finishing up the Aragon series, and they call it Allegasia, which is kind of a sick name for a universe. I think that's pretty cool. Faerun is pretty cool also, from the Baldur's Gate universe, and I think that's just general Dungeons and Dragons. Don't come for me. I'm not a super nerd like I'd wish to be. My brain just does not work like that, unfortunately. But I do love to world build, but unfortunately there's like gaps in my world building that they make no sense. I have no idea why the naming of the continent didn't start, but I did name all of the countries that they travel to, and I made a little map. I just need to name that map. So book 2 is Thirst. And then I have Jesus, how many books is this? I started writing in October, and I've essentially just been possessed since then, and I don't get to do what I would like to do because of the economy. I would like to just milk goats and rescue cats, but unfortunately now I'm possessed by this nasty little writing demon, and I have to do all of these things, or I cannot feel successful or achieve success. Ironically, same diff. So I have another book. So that's Bite, Where the Feedback Ends, Thirst. The third book in the series is called Where the Feedback Ends is just kind of like a one-off contemporary fiction, because I'm obsessed with The Great Gatsby, and I got really hooked on this anime/manga called Nana, and I was obsessed with those girls' relationships, so I definitely had to write a whole book about it, because I'm a weird girl. And so Bite, Thirst, Ascend. Then there's Where the Feedback Ends, which we're writing now. Technically haven't touched it in the last 34 minutes, but this sort of counts, kind of. Don't come for me. And so Where the Feedback Ends. And then I have another book called Moon and Marble, which is a billionaire romance found family book that all of my ARC readers are absolutely feral for. And they will hunt me down if I don't finish writing that book by the end of this year. So that one needs to go on the docket for next completed finished book. I think that one was also going to be... Oh, no, don't log out. What have I done? I almost turned this entire thing off. What kind of a button does this mouse pad control? Also, definitely would take any tutelage on Streamlabs, because I am just white-knuckling this. I have no idea how to do this. I'm too old for technology, but I'm too young for that to make sense. Does that track, chat? Because I should know how to do all of these things. I used to work in an industry where I streamed all the time, but they kind of just did it for you. The entertainment industry. Anyhow, so the next book that needs to be fully completed as soon as possible is Moon and Marble. And I was just going to make that a one-off. What is this iPad doing here? Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, originally I was just going to make Moon and Marble a one-off also, but the characters are really expansive, and, like, I sort of wrote it for this guy I know, kind of. So I need to get his feedback on it, but also I probably shouldn't get his feedback on it because he's going to be pretty irritated with me for writing a billionaire romance. Because I made the male main love interest. I guess he's just the only love interest, basically. He is a very fine Asian man, and don't tell anybody, but I actually wrote it about two gentlemen that I was enamored with, but I don't want either of them to know which one it is. And there's sort of elements of both in it, and I think they'll be kind of mad at me for writing that book. But it's really sweet, and I'm really excited to write it. It's going to be super cool. The characters are just wonderful, but I need, like, Asian mom lore for that book, because I really want to do, the mom character justice in that book. I already have, like, most of the characters nailed down, but I really want her to stand out and, like, be, like, a really lived-in character as well. But I don't have a lot of experience with Asian moms. I only have experience disappointing white moms. So I need some advice on that. But I don't want to text either of the dudes that I wrote with the characters in mind. So if you guys want to do me a solid and help me with an Asian mom masterclass, that would be really cool, because I don't have a single person that I could text that would be pleased with me about the questions that I have to ask about that book. So, anyway, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy good. I think I'm gonna have to. Funny enough, I think I'm gonna have to do twice as many arc reads for that book that I did for Bite. Bite has been just insane. I've had to do 2 review campaigns for that book already, and it's a lot. I think the romantasy genre right now is kind of like. Funny enough, I think it's smaller than just the contemporary romance. Because, I mean, who wants to write a big, giant world building, what have you? It's much easier to write a modern book, I think, because you don't have to kind of explain the world, because we're all kind of living in it right now. But I'm really excited to read. I'm really excited to not only read that book, but to write that book. I already have a lot of the key points of that book written, but I am considering making it a 2 or a 3-part book, because I want one version. If I were to split this novel, if I were to split Moon and Marble, I had an idea at like 4:30 in the morning yesterday, which every time I try to go to sleep and these ideas are in my head, they like will not allow me to sleep until I write them down, and it's very depressing, because it's always when I have a bunch of shit to do the next morning that I just, like, cannot go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep until, like, 8 o'clock in the morning, because I had to write all of this down. So I went through, and for the first, like, either I'm going to write a decently long prologue to, like, set up how we've arrived at this arrangement for Moon and Marble, or it's going to be like the first 3 or 4 chapters of this book are going to be with like completely different characters. It's basically going to be season 1 Game of Thrones. And you're just like, oh yeah, Ed Stark, this is awesome. And then, well, you know what? If you have spoilers for Game of Thrones at this point, like, this is no longer my issue. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. How do I? Oh, that's so annoying. Maybe on here. Which one is that even on? Auto mod. Oh, I don't know how to use this. Oh, OBS, why? Why are you not built for dumb girls? Anyway, so this thing is like pretty much the only thing keeping me alive right now. I am so exhausted. Anyway, so for Moon and Marble, if I were to split that into two separate novels, the first novel would be from Diana's point of view. She is the female main character. And it's going to be like the sweet, like, arc of, like, her childhood to adulthood. And then, like, a slow burn romance on that book. And then the second book that I would potentially break that into is Daniel Park, who is the male lead. And it would probably just be his, like, teenage years of, like, him doing this and that. And then them as adults and spicy time. But I don't know if anybody wants to... I have no idea what the market wants. Honestly, I would read the hell out of that book, but I am a certified weird girl, not beating those allegations. So I don't know. And then one of my ARC readers asked me if I was going to do a spin-off of Alice and, like, her romances in the future. But I don't know about that. Like, I don't really know who Alice is yet, but I think that, like, Alice should get her own story, but it's like, I'm not, like, that interested in writing Alice's story. But if the people demand it, I will write it, and I will give her a fantabulous Crazy Rich Asian ending. And it'll be the wedding of her dreams, and everybody will be happy, and everyone will clap. I just have to, I'll do it. I'll do it. They can pretty much bully me into anything, these ARC readers. They just need to be meaner, I think. I come from a pretty, like, aggressive household, so if they don't threaten me with violence, then I don't know how they expect to get me to write all of these books that they want. But I'll do it. I'll write these books. It also keeps me kind of motivated to do. I'm really excited. If I can finish this book, I will finish this book on time. You guys are going to bully me. You have to bully me into doing this. You guys have to get on me. Go to my Instagram. Bully me. If you see me doing something that's not writing this book, bully me. I give you full license right now to bully me into finishing writing this book. And you guys can clip this. You guys can clip this, and when somebody says, oh, you're bullying Riley, don't tell her to do this and that, you have my express permission to bully me specifically into writing this book, because I have to do this. I have to finish, and I have to make this June deadline, because this is insane. Because then, in July, we get to just have fun and do book club, because I will have completed the task. So when I first wrote Bite, I told myself, I am going to write this book until it's done. If it kills me, I'm writing this book. I'm going to finish this book. And then I finished it like 2 weeks into December. I started in October. It was crazy. Don't ask me how I did that. Except I wrote all of the reasons and how I did that down. It's 30 days, 30 tips in 30 days how to write your novel. That link is wherever you're at right now. I'm pretty sure there's a link to it in my bio channel, whatever. I'm doing my best to learn all of these different places and do all of this stuff, but I am not a technology person. It took me an embarrassing long time to set up my website, and it's not even. I don't even know if my website's finished. It's supposed to be. I definitely need to finish that. I also need to film a thank you video for all of my ARC graders who read Byte, because that was sick and that was awesome, and they were all super helpful. Except everybody loved it, so now I don't have the negative feedback that I really desperately wanted for that book. But they read the book, and that was sick. That was awesome of you guys, and I need to write a thank you video for that. But you guys don't get to bully me about that until July. That has to be done in July by the latest. So anyhow, why is my stream like crazy delayed? I feel like I talked about this stuff like 5 minutes. I feel like I talked about this stuff like 5 minutes ago. I don't understand the delays on any of these things. Who's gonna metagame writing my book? Oh my gosh, it's still on the first title. I don't. Oh, technology is gonna be the death of me, I swear. Anyhow. So I'm gonna finish these 6 chapters. 5 chapters plus epilogue. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. I still need some dialogue help. I'm gonna bring that up on the chat screen here. Is it this one? Okay, so this is what we're working on right now. This, where am I going? Where am I going? There's so many tabs open. I hate this. Ah! This will really all be solved once I have my desktop set up and I have 2 monitors. But I am living chaotically right now, which I think is a requirement for all writers. I don't think that you're really allowed to write your first 2 to 5 novels in any kind of stability or organization, because I think this is a divine punishment. I really do. I think that being a writer is what the gods punish us for not doing the right steps in our life. And then it's like, you must be shackled to these books and this chaos until it is complete. And then once you complete this ritual by writing all of these books, then you get to know peace and have goats to milk and are gifted with 10,000 kitty cats. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Occasionally I do TNR rescues, so that that did start off the month kind of on a win, which was pretty sick. But we'll get into those things when I have completed this novel, because I have to finish this novel. It's crazy. It's crazy how many novels I need to finish. This is insane. I am working on finishing 22 novels eventually. So we've got a pretty good start. We're cooking. So 3, 4, 5. If I make the spin-off novels, that's like 8 right there. So that's like, I don't know. I'm super bad at math, guys. Don't quote me on this, but isn't that like, I don't know, 1/3 of the way there or something? 1/4 of the way there? God, I'm not even gonna look it up. It's probably that's probably a terrible estimate, but it's more than none, which is insane. So I'll finish this novel and then work on the other ones, and then I don't know, maybe like get a tattoo, buy a goat, something crazy. We've got to do something for doing all of those things. This is the most behind. Is this my fault that the live is so far behind? Did I make the live so far behind? I think I'm the reason I made this live behind. So I'm gonna exit out of that. I'll probably get better. I'll probably get better at technology, but maybe not. Twitch. There we go. So I also have no idea how to find... the... Let's see. Can I do this? There we go. messages below. Okay, so we are... Okay, so the current dialogue that I'm having an issue with... let me set the scene for you. So, the main character is essentially running this event. And she sends out... like, oh, hey guys, there's an event on blah 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 or whatever, and her shitty friends RSVP to it, but then they don't go. They just get wasted at their apartment. And then later on, she's like packing up from the event, which is totally over. And the guy texts her, and he's just like, oh, my bad, dude. Had to hang out with the boys. You know what it is. And she's kind of had enough with that. She's had enough with that. And she decides to tap in to her inner mean girl. And she texts him something so heinous that this is like the breakage point for their friendship. And then she sends that and then doesn't even look at her phone and then just collapses onto her bed on a pile of laundry that she has no energy to fold. And then she gets an ominous notification on her phone. Chapter close. So... guys, if you have ever gotten a super duper mean text message from a girl, like, and I'm not talking like, oh, like, you know, she said I had like a small piece. Not talking about that. I'm talking about like something that if you went to see a therapist, you would bring this up, or something that you like still think about like years after the fact. Some girl said something so mean to you, like, you know, you're just like your dad kind of stuff, where you're just like, I'm not like Brian, how dare you, or whatever. And it's just like haunted you for years. So that's kind of like what I'm looking for here. Like the text that you just be like, fucking bitch, like how dare she say that to me? And that is like, every time you think of that girl, you think about her having texted that to you, and you're just like, so enraged about it that you couldn't reach out to that girl in the future if you even wanted to. So that is what we're trying to, that's the lightning in a bottle we're trying to capture here. And I think that is going to be like a last minute Hail Mary, finishing this book, because I don't think I've ever texted anybody anything that mean before. I generally try not to be mean. I'm just kind of blunt. And for a long time, everybody thought that was me being like, haha, funny. So then I got a reputation as like the funny girl in the group, which didn't make any sense because I'm not deadpanning. I just got the tism. So I really don't know what the character would say, but it would be so very her, but it's kind of a linchpin to the end of this chapter, and I've kind of written myself into a corner here. So there's that, because I did finish the rest of that chapter. I think I finished that. Okay. So that is a prompt for the fellas. That's a prompt for the boys. If you know, you know. Please don't tell them that I listen to their podcast. I'm sure they already know, but I'll be flogged. I'll be flogged if they know I listen to their podcast. So now the second... nope, not that one. This one is... This one's for the girlies. And this is the second prompt that I'm looking for. Ladies only, talk yourself out of a second date. A guy has just... So the backstory of this one is... A guy has taken you on a first date. You've had like the worst week of your life. You've had the worst week of your life. And then out of nowhere, pretty much like your dream, like husband material dude, takes you out on a date. You're so nervous. You're so like bugs under your skin, anxious. And then at the end of the date, he says something so charming like, oh, not bad for a first date. And you, like a certified weird girl, nearly talk yourself out of a second date because you're like, what is this guy seeing me? This is insane. Why would he want to take me out? I am 3 raccoons in a trench coat. What is happening here? how is this man enamored with me? Just completely befuddled, completely baffled. So I need you guys to extract your weird girl energy and dilute it into a dialogue potion for this scene. I know you guys can do it. I believe in you. And if you guys get picked, I'll write you into a saucy novel. How about that? I'll write you in as a character. You send me your headshot and your vibe, your energy, and you will be in. Maybe I write you into Moon and Marvel, or if you are like low key fantasy girly vibes, you're a Ren Fair girly, I'll write you in on that. The offer also extends to the gentleman from the Very Mean Breakup text. I'll write you into a novel. How's that sound? I'm being so dead ass right now, guys. I am so bad at dialogue. Because I don't really understand people, which is super weird. Like, why would I write these novels? This is essentially my Steve Irwin moment. I'm writing you guys, R.I.P. to the king. I am writing to try and understand humans, truly. I have been convinced since my youth that I am probably an alien trying to be human. And this is me doing research, guys. And eventually I'll learn how to human. And this is your chance to teach me how to human. So we are on chapter. The chapter titles in this are fire. I did such a good job. So once again, this book, I'm trying to hit Great Gatsby. Super duper loved that book as a kid. Like insanely obsessed with that book as a kid for no reason. Why did they make us read that in middle school? I did not have the capacity to understand like fully the vibes of that book as a child. But I was absolutely obsessed. I've reread The Great Gatsby like six times, which is super easy because it's like a teeny tiny book. I don't have it here, but it's in my permanent bookshelf, which I am also working on getting a studio space that is not this teeny cubicle that I've created here. And it has like a full bookshelf. So hopefully I get the information back on that place soon, and then we'll be able to do like sort of book talky kind of stuff over there. That'll be fun. I'm sure my office roommate will love that. He does music. I do book stuff. That'll be hilarious. Funny enough, I think our aesthetics are kind of similar, so it's just going to be like kind of dark academia, gothic sort of. That'll be fun. I'm so excited. The entire wall is like a bookshelf, so I'll be able to. But if I'm being honest, I'm like kind of an ebook girly. I read somewhere that you have to account for the weight of all of the books when you build a library, and that really troubled me as a youth. So I'm not. I'm not really like the old school Disney like Belle type of chick, because I worry that all of the books that you could possibly accumulate would actually weigh down your house and put a fault in the foundation. But there are some books that just absolutely have to be in print and in ebook. So I have all of my books available for ebook. That's actually the first thing that is available because of how I've written them, which is super sick. I will give Apple that. Writing things in Pages is super dope. Never been a real big fan of Word. So the fact that I can export them just directly as an EPUB is pretty sick. I really appreciate you guys just like being in the weeds with me here. This is such a daunting task. It's so grueling, guys. Also, if I can complete this book in the correct amount of time, I'm going to reward myself with swimming lessons. So that'll be super fun. Yes, I know 30-year-old woman can't swim, but I will be learning. I will be learning how to swim. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll do like a fun, relaxing, like, I don't know. We can't do a hot tub stream if I drown. I feel like that's kind of like beside the point, but like maybe we'll have like a little celebration or something like that. Like we'll all go swimming together or something. It'll be fun. I definitely cannot go on any riverboat adventures because that is a hashtag liability, but we'll do something fun. When these books pop off, I'll invite you guys to... I have this plan that when all of these books sell, when I have a nice 6-figure portfolio, I will get a goat that you guys will get to name. And every morning, well, morning for you guys, nighttime for me, because I'm nocturnal, so my schedule is opposite. I'm on Tokyo time all the time, baby. So I will be milking goat and giving a little bit of goat milk to tiny kitty cats, and then it will just jump cut to me being in bed asleep. Every morning without fail, that will be a ritual that I do for you guys, for helping me write all of these books. And I mean, the YouTube will be so popping by then. You guys will be like, I was there from the get. And that'll be sick. That'll be sick for you guys. Also, I mean, goats. Just goats. That's it. Goats and cats and goats and cats and goats and cats. But also chickens, because I have a giant purple rooster that is just fantabulous. And I need to write him into something. He's so fantastic and great. Oh my gosh. Here are the TNR kitty cats that I got to deal with at the beginning of the month. They were so fun. So fun. I gave their mom back to them on Mother's Day, and she was very upset. She was like, I want to go back to the resort where the lady feeds me salmon. I don't want to take care of these kids. And I thought it was so fun for her to get to have like a little 4-day weekend where she pretended that she didn't have any kids, which was super, super sus. But I did get to see the handsome veterinarian that does the TNR work down here. Oh, so swim-worthy. Maybe I should write a book about a sexy veterinarian. That guy definitely needs to be on a book cover, like, straight up. Anyway, we're writing. So let me just switch this prompt real quick to this one. I already wrote this chapter, but this just seems fun. This just seems like what is something just absolutely heinous that you wish that you had texted an ex? Because I definitely have some things on this. That would have been honestly pretty close to a decade ago. You girl's been locked down for a minute, but have we been together for a decade? No, it hasn't been a decade, has it? See, we got together in, I want to say 2018. Was it 2018? So what anniversary am I on, you guys? Did I miss a whole, like, anniversary block? Hold on. Calculator, because I don't want to mess this up. 2025 minus 2018. 7 years. Lucky number 7, you guys. That's crazy. 7 years. 3 more and it's a decade. What are you supposed to get your partner for a decade? I can't remember. What is... I'm doing literally everything but writing these chapters. You guys are not helping at all. You are supposed to be bullying me. You're supposed to bully me into completing these chapters. Every Monday and Friday. I would do Wednesday as well, but I have to day job on Wednesday. That's like my crazy long day. It's so physically demanding that I can't even write if I wanted to. I could yap out my chapters to my audiobook, but I have this like crazy industrial fan going over my head and it really like messes with my audio. And I think that my iPhone might just like spontaneously combust like a Samsung device. What were the Samsung? It was Samsung, right? The computer. Was it Samsung? See, this is why I never get anything done, guys. I get off on these tangents. What were the phones that blew up? Don't come for me, Samsung, if it wasn't Samsung. It was Samsung. Samsung Galaxy Note 7s in 2016 used to just friggin' explode. So I feel like my iPhone would go the way of the Samsung if if I tried to do that. Okay, what was I doing? What was I doing on here? Where am I looking? Repeat. Where are we going with this? Where am I going with this, guys? Tell me why. Okay. Lulu, I've got some apples. Lulu, I've got some too. No. Stop it. You stop it. You stop it right now, iPad. Do not delete thousands of hours of content just because I'm a ding-dong that doesn't know how to use this. No, just turn them into little thumbnails. Why? I want it to be icons. Only icons. No. Giant icons. Viewing options. Icon size. Default. Okay, so that's better. That's better. Oh my gosh, I have even more on here. Oops. So I also have like a short horror novel that I want to release called The Grievance. And it's sort of niche, but it's kind of a retelling of like an inner demon that takes over your life and makes it better. But it's a commentary on depression. But that one's not sexy or fun. It's mostly just supposed to be scary. So that one's in my back. Oh my god, I forgot about that one. I also wrote a book about plants that eat you. Maybe I should release like maybe in October I should release like a short story book for you guys of just like spooky things that I've written, because it's not like as fleshed out as a compendium as Bite or what's the other one? It's not as fleshed out as Bite, and it's not as like it just didn't end up being as long of a story as Where the Feedback Ends or Moon and Marble. Oh Jesus, I don't know how we got on such a long tangent. You guys, you have to stop me when I'm doing that. You guys, again, you have to bully me. You have to bully me. It's the only way for me to do any of these things. We need to bring back bullying. Well, selective bullying, I guess. But I feel like there were a lot less weird girls when we were bullying. So maybe I would be a little bit less ADHD if I had been bullied properly into, being able to stay on friggin' track. The tons and tons of caffeine in this probably also isn't helping. How much caffeine is in this? 200 milligrams of caffeine. Wait, what's that little star mean? 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's a lot. Oh, thank you for following. It's super crazy cool of you guys. Nope, stop, repeat. Jesus. Oh, I also made a Vegas romance one. That one's fun. Let's read a little bit of that one. Did I write it down? Three brothers host a Dan Bilzerian-style meeting of women in early Las Vegas. The middle brother is blind, the elder brother is a crazy partier, and the younger brother is almost always engrossed in a book. The narration is by the middle brother. When did I write this? Was I on? I can't think of a euphemism for drugs right now. Okay, so this is a little Easter egg. In Bite, there's a part in it that I reference drug use, but like fantasy medieval. So instead of using one that already exists, like Fistech or what's the one they use in The Witcher? Is it Fistech in The Witcher? No, what is it? What is the pseudo cocaine they use in The Witcher? Does anybody remember? Cocaine in The Witcher. Hopefully this is far enough in the stream that I go. Oh, it is Fistech. Wait a minute. I thought that was what is in Skyrim. Hold on. Is that in Skyrim? No, it's skooma. It's skooma in Skyrim. All instances of Fistech Fistal. No, Fistech. Fistech in The Witcher. Is that the only instance of it? Oh, I guess that's the only instance of it. Jeez. I cannot believe that I totally transposed that into a completely different fantasy series. That is embarrassing. Anyhow, so in Bite, there's a small point where one of the characters is referencing like drug use, basically, and I call essentially this fantasy cocaine vellum, like white vellum, and vellum is actually, if I remember right, it's that thin layer. If anybody's squeamish, you're gonna have to like mute this for just like half a second. I'll like flash my hands on the screen when I stop talking about nasty anatomy stuff. If you guys get queasy, like my husband. So, anyway, so spoiler that I'm gonna be talking about weird stuff for just half a second. So I'm pretty sure vellum, if I remember correctly, is that thin like line of tissue that separates your muscles and your organs. And I pontificated that if this fantasy substance that vampires consume for drug use, if it was an actual drug, it would look like that if it were dried and pulverized into a powder. Because I feel like that would have like kind of like a sheen to it, similar to cocaine, but there would not be cocaine in this fantasy scenario. But it would have that kind of effect. So anyway, all done with nasty anatomy business. So, okay, back to the point. Where's the point? Who knows? Oh yeah, so if I was going to write a book 2 of Moon and Marble, I thought that perhaps that the second book would be called Sun and Steel, because the male love interest works in a construction/building company, and Sun is like sort of an Asian-y name, but also double entendre, the sun, like the sun and the moon. And wasn't there that trend that was going on recently where it's like, I tried to be the sun, but blah, 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 and then I tried to be the moon, blah, blah, blah. I also thought about stars, but, ooh, that would be a cool one. That would be a cool one. So maybe for his sister Alice's book, it's like stars and something. Like stars and harp, or whatever. Because she's going to be into, I'm doing kind of a lot of Asian tropes in that book, but like, don't come for me, because that's just what all of my, that's what my love interests used to talk about. Listen, if we had in earnest dated, I would have so much more, like, understanding of the intricacies of these things, but they didn't ask me out, and now I'm married, so can't really date them. You know, is what it is. But I'm super excited to write that book. It's gonna be so hot, but also so warm and like cozy. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like a sweater that makes you look really, really good when you go out. But it's like cozy, but also like sweater. Okay, so focus, Riley. Where are we at here? So here is the placeholder cover, and I promise I don't have an aversion to blondes. I really did try to A/B test this. It's giving Crazy Rich Asians. He looks super Korean in that, but like, I'm trying to make him like ambiguously Asian, because I really don't have like a specific preference. Like hot Asian guy, you know what I mean? But I did give him an androgynous last name because, like, if you're an Asian dude, you should be able to just kind of like self-insert, like, you enjoy being the hot love interest of this book, because I'm going to enjoy writing you quite a bit. Because hashtag weird girl not beating the allegations. So where is the alternative for that? And here's the craziest thing. I thought that was going to be the least popular novel. Like, that one's just kind of like a passion project of mine. Like, sort of like a, I don't know, like what might have been or whatever with a couple of my previous love interests. But it's like, my ARC readers are feral for it. I was just like, yeah, so I'm going to write book 2 of Bite. And I'm going to write this, like, grungy, like will they, won't they sort of lesbian book, low-key. It's not really a lesbian book. But it is a little bit LGB. So that one's kind of more of a fade to black, more of kind of like a PG-13 book about a girl, just like this book that we're writing right now, Where the Feedback Ends, is not super spicy, but it is racy. So I really thought people would really be more into that, but they want Moon and Marble, and they want it now. Crazy Rich Asians lit a fire under so many people that they are just, I mean, they're battering against my door. They're like, finish Moon and Marble. So I have to finish this book because I have to do the book semi in order, or I will go crazy, and then I'll be George R.R. Martin and I'll never finish anything. I have perpetual beef with that man for not finishing Winds of Winter. But it's okay because they saved the Game of Thrones Fire and Ice compendium with that super secret podcast that they made to rewrite essentially from, I think it was season 5 to season 7 or something like that. It was spectacular. It's not the ending I wanted, but it is an ending that made sense and fit with the war. I guess I just like the ending to be more like Bad Girl on Top, I guess, which I feel like we can all kind of empathize with that sort of an ending. Usually I skip the beginning part of those. Oh yes, Moon and Marble. I feel like once I finish this book, which it's an hour and 20 minutes and counting, and I have not written not a single bit of this book, you guys. You are not bullying me nearly enough. So where are my novel covers? Ah, here it is. So this was the other potential placeholder cover. I like to have placeholder covers just so it's easier for me to tell what I'm doing in pages, because I like to have one be the storyboard, and that's just like info dumping all the crap I'm going to write into the novel. And then the other one is the actual novel. And when I'm like bleary-eyed, can't even open my lock screen, I need to be able to quickly assess which one of those I'm clicking so I don't completely fuck up all the formatting. Because the formatting's the worst part about writing a novel, and nobody edits anymore. When I was much younger and pursuing not an English degree to the disdain of a lot of my English professors, I pursued biochemistry like a moron. Crazy. I'm doing absolutely nothing with that. It was the wrong path for me to go on. But now I know about, like, the citric cycle and, like, water testing, which is, like, not helpful at all for anything that I'm doing. But I know how to do that. Titrations, I got you. You should have gone into, like, nutrition or, I don't know. Even veterinary science is, like, way more helpful for me. But I only did, like, 2 classes under getting an actual associate's degree for that, which it's, like, college, right? Anyway, tangent. So, anyway, when I was first going into English, and I had to take a bunch of my college courses for that, for biochemistry, the tangent I ended up going on, an editor edited your book. They went into your book and they said, the formatting here is ass. This isn't this. This isn't this. This is, the structure here needs to be this way. If you're trying to connect this plot to here, this is what you do. Now they don't do that. They look for plot holes. What are you talking about, look for plot holes? Isn't that kind of the writer's job to make sure it makes sense? If it doesn't make sense, how are you writing it? Which doesn't make any sense to me at all. If it's so unhinged that I can't follow the plot, we got a problem. And maybe that's just the tism, but it doesn't make any sense to me, like what editors have kind of morphed into. So they essentially do the same thing as ARC readers now, which is really confusing to me. I thought ARC readers' jobs were to read the book and say, great novel, or I didn't like chapter 7, that guy's a dork, or whatever. Basically, they're just like your, ARC readers are supposed to be your metaphorical ops. They're supposed to be like, you suck, chapter blah 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 sucked, or whatever. Or they're either supposed to be your ops or mega fans, which I haven't found any ops yet. If you would like to be my ops, go ahead and go to my channel. There is an ARC read for Byte right now, and if you want to just like completely tear me a new one while reading a free Romantasy book, you go right ahead. I am on your team unless you don't want me to be on your team, and that will help you be my nemesis. Be my nemesis, taking applications now. If you want to be my fan, you can do that too, but I am currently looking for nemesis. So if you have a nemesis disposition, be my nemesis. I am auditioning for nemesis right now. So, frame rate detected, dropped frames detected. I don't know. I don't know what that means. There's a lot of red flashing lights on this screen that I have no idea what they mean. Game live on. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means. Oops. So, yeah, originally I was so cool with having the main character be a blonde, but everybody was like, no, she can't be blonde. She has to be a brunette. So then this is what we ended up with. The ending title, the ending cover screen, I think is going to have like a Doric column or a bust or something, something more to that degree. Also, if anybody is into sculpting, is there a thing like, you know, in Japanese pottery, where it cracks and then you fill it with gold and like you shove it back together and it's like even prettier after the fact? Is there a version of that for like marble sculpting? Like, what happens if you accidentally like break off a nose? Can you like put it back on with some sort of like adhesive but make it pretty? Is that a thing? If it is, send me a whole email about it at info at byrdflock.com, byrdflock.com, because I need to hear about that for science and novel reasons. Anyhow, guys, we haven't written any of this novel. You guys are not blingy enough. Okay, how about this one? Did I already do that one? Let's circle back to the original one. Let's circle back 7. Well, that's ominous. What was that about? Instances of Fistek. Don't care about that. Oh, I guess I should plug I should plug the book club, you guys. So if you go on goodreads.com, I also have a book club where you can read Romantasy books with me, or really suggest whatever novel you want to me. I'm pretty open-minded, so I think it's just Byrdflock Book Club, BYRDFLOCK Book Club. It's really a cult, so join if you want, or don't. If you want to just be my nemesis, then once again, still taking nemesis applications. But the first 2 books that I would like to read on there in the bookshelf are Jessica Armentrout's From Blood and Ash, which is like the #1 feedback I got on Byte, is that it was really similar to that. The main character, dark vibes, also like villainous themes. I haven't read that. Don't spoil it for me. Unless you're my nemesis, in which case go be nemesising. Anyway, I also am a real big fan of The Witcher, but I wish that The Witcher was spicier and also there were monsters. So I got recommended Shield of Sparrows by by Devney Perry, and that one is in the book club as well. And if you're not a big fan of spice but you still want to participate, I have in there Heir Apparent by Vivian Van Velde, and it is a really good book. It's a YA novel, so there's no spice, but it has a really cool, like, kind of choose your own adventure, Kingsmoot sort of situation. And I've read that like 3-4 times. It's awesome. Really like it. I feel like that lady has like a gaming background, which seems impossible because I think she's like 70, 60, 70, somewhere around there. So like it doesn't make sense for her to have like this pre-knowledge of VR gaming, but she does, and it was awesome. Really liked that book. She has another book called User Unfriendly, which is also a novel in that series. I don't have any of the kitty cats in here. Yeah, I saw Fatty probably about an hour ago, and Squirrel was in here, but then the fan must have gotten too warm. So they've been around, but they're not, like, physically here. So
He told me now to get into boots.
yeah, he's a little scamperino.
But I'm wondering if Squirrel's out there dicking around, and that's why he didn't come in.
Well, that is his girlfriend cat.
So that's where I'm headed now.
Nice. So our cats are mischievous and super naughty. Do you guys remember when it was like an hour ago, right? He was like vibing in here, and then I tried to get him to write my book, and he was like, "No, thank you, Riley. I would like to do kitty cat crimes." Anyhow, join the book club. That one's on Goodreads. I feel like I should make a link to that, but the links all expire after like 30 days, so I'd have to like constantly put the link down there. I'm pretty sure it's just like an open group. You guys can just find it wherever you like. It looks like... Oh, let me see if I can find it for you. I also spilled salsa juice, or I guess just lime juice, on my keyboard. So now the B doesn't work, and like B shows up quite a bit in my day-to-day. Is this it? Yeah. Groups. Book club. So this is what the book club looks like. Go ahead and join that if you want to read books with me. That'll be our little reward in July. So if you guys want to get a head start on those books while I am in writing jail, then go for it. I will be reading those books in July and taking swimming lessons so that I don't drown this summer. And then maybe we have like a little hot tub pool party as a reward for finishing all of these novels. I have no idea, but book club books. I still have ARC reader positions available for Bite, so if you like romantasy with a sunshine vampire, ironically, and a grumpy farm girl going on an adventure to reclaim his... It's not his kingdom, it's his, like, it's basically, like, his little township that he's in charge of, or whatever. That is available either wherever you're watching. It's in my bio channel, where have you. I'm pretty sure there's a clickable link to all of those things. They still have some ARC reader spots available. Once again, if you hate my guts and want to be my nemesis, go ahead and read those books and be like, I hated chapter 7. You don't know how to write this, and I would have written it better. Totally allowed, totally cool with me. Welcome the opportunity to have some nemesises. Or if you guys just want to be, like, reading a free romantasy book, you go for it. I believe in you. So, I think we've left that prompt up long enough. Let's go. Guys only, what is something that a girl texted you that was, like, super duper mean that you guys still think about to this day? Like, something that you're just like, man, like, what a bitch. I can't believe she said that. The context of this is that the main character in the book that we're currently writing, she has an event and she puts out like a blurb. A couple of her friends RSVP to it and then intentionally don't show up, and they're just like, oh, sorry, had to, drink with the boys. And she's just kind of had enough. Like, they're just such fair weather friends. But the guy in question is like scared to be alone. So he keeps people around that he has really low expectations for. These are the kind of people that like wouldn't help him move if he needed help moving unless he offered like beer and pizza. And, he's basically just like chosen to be friends with a bunch of losers that are never going to turn him down because they have nothing better to do. But the main character is a really good friend to him. And he just like constantly spurns her, which is like super annoying. And she's finally had enough, so she texts back something super wicked to him. And I don't know how to be that mean. I can be blunt at times, which is sort of a result of the tism, but I don't really understand how to like cut people down like that. And I really like, I don't know that I have like the cruel creativity specifically to text somebody something in under 150 characters that's like that cruel. And so I'm super stuck on that. But it's what chapter are we in? Chapter 20 of 25, and then an epilogue. And I already have all of these storyboarded out, so I'm not really sure why it's taking me forever to write this book. Let's go back. I did finish formatting the book the other day, so everything should be where it needs to be. But if I've learned anything, it's when I upload it to KDP, it's gonna mess all my formatting up. It screwed up. So I tried to add my author photo, like, preset to my manuscript the other day, and it just, like, didn't check the thumbnails like a complete idiot. It was ridiculous. And it messed up, like, 10 of the chapters in Byte, so I had to go back through. And then when I handed out the proof copies to the two girls that are helping me edit, they were like, yeah, that's a problem. And I'm like, yeah, no duh. Obviously, it's supposed to be, like, formatted properly. But KDP hates me, and also ADD is not your friend when you have to do specifically, like, fine detail projects. So, guys, you're not doing a very good job of bullying me. You need to bully me. This is how we got into this. This is how we got into this in the first place. I have not been bullied nearly enough. And it's allowed me to just get so far behind on this. What are we listening to techno right now? No. I would really love to listen to the Spotify playlist that I specifically made for this book. It's really helpful to write. But the TOS for both Twitch and YouTube says DMCA free only. But if you guys are interested, I do have... I'm just like gonna pop that up real quick. I do have a playlist here. Where's that? Did I hide it? Did I hide it? Where did I put it? Library. No. That's not where it's at. So, I do have a Spotify playlist called Ash and Ren, and it's just kind of like the vibe of this book, and it's super. Oh, oops, no, go back to where I was. Guess this one's gonna hurt. She's a oh no, go back to the DMCA. Oh, I'm gonna get so canceled. Anyway. So, I have a Spotify playlist for all of the books that I'm writing, just so I can, like, be in the zone for writing that stuff. So, I'm not gonna lie, this DMCA music is, not not so much the vibe, but it is crucial for filming. And because I don't understand technology, my plan was to just have the DMC music for some like background on here, and then have the actual playlist in my ears so that I can like focus and keep all of my novel specific thoughts all together. And then I don't understand how technology works, so it just kept switching between the Spotify playlist that I'm not allowed to play and the stuff that I'm supposed to have in the background so that my stream doesn't get shut down. And it just became like just a complete loop because there's a delay, so I wouldn't notice, and then it was alright, hour 1.5 of not touching my manuscript at all. Crazy work, you guys. Where? There's so many tabs open. This is my nightmare. There's so many tabs. Do I have? Okay. Okay, alright, well there, now I have now I have both of the chats on at least. Can I? Yeah, there we go. That's so crazy. The YouTube is so far behind the Twitch. I don't really understand that. I'm pretty sure I set it to like low latency because I'm not like playing the game right now. Anyway, okay. So let's just changing my, oh, of course. So this needs to be here, so you guys can see the prompt. Okay, and then this is, okay. Oh man, what was I looking for? What was I looking for? I have no idea. I have no idea where I was going with this. I have Goodreads. Goodreads is good. Where the feedback ends is good. These chapter titles are pretty banger. We've got PBRs, guitars, and poor decisions. That one was a fun run to write. These characters are so crazy. This is ridiculous. This is such like a downward spiral for like at least the first. Let's see here. Ooh, for the first like 2/3 of this book, it's just like a downward spiral. Like this is so depression, but it's not even funny. And then insanity. Okay, we got it, guys. Oh, I remember what I was gonna do. Okay. Where? Oh, I see. Okay. Well, we're over halfway to our follower goal on Twitch, so that's pretty sick. That's pretty awesome. I'm gonna pop out there. Okay. We can do it, you guys. So, we're on chapter 20 right now. That one's, like, pretty much written. Here's the crazy part. I have all of these chapters storyboarded out, but because my brain knows that, like, I've pretty much reached the conclusion of the story in my brain, I'm not getting, like, the fun dopamine hit of, like, writing it initially because I've storyboarded it out. So I'm like, yeah, of course, the story's done. Now on to the next. But I need to, like, go through and finish editing this. Okay, so this scene that I still need to finish writing is, is like when you go to a party and nobody knows your name, even though you're like original member of the group. Let's add that as a prompt. Okay. Have you ever been to a party where no one knows who you are, despite being an original member of the group? Sad girl for memory unlocked. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and we're gonna tear apart that chapter. How do I emote only, follower only, slow mode, identity? Am I in Twitch? I'm in Twitch on that one. If I go to Streamlabs, will it show me all of the chat? It'll only show me one or the other of chat. Oh, yeah, I can't read YouTube chats at all. They're, like, not coming in. Wait, hold on. Okay. Well, that's one mystery solved. There's the YouTube chats. Jeez. Sorry, you guys. It's supposed to be picking all of these up. So I'm going to put Twitch right here. And put YouTube right here. And that should solve the problem. Sorry about that, guys. Jeez. Wow, that's massively embarrassing. Yikes. Yeah, apologies on that. So if you're watching me on YouTube right now, go ahead and send an emoji in the chat. Wow. Wow, that's so embarrassing. I hope you guys haven't been waiting for super long for me to reply to you, because, like, once again, OBS is supposed to be showing me the multi-stream chat right now, but it is not. It's just, like, totally blank, which, super duper sucks. If I click YouTube, it shows me nothing. If I click Twitch, it shows me nothing. It really only has... If I refresh the chat, will it show me? Yeah, it's just, like, not showing the chat, which is crazy work. I wonder if that's something I have to calibrate in YouTube. Once again, if anybody has any, like, tutelage to make this multi-streaming thing work better, that would be great. Because, once again, I am too old to understand all of this, but also young enough that I absolutely should, which is insane to me. This technology has existed in my lifetime, and I have no idea how to use any of this. I just barely figured out the overlays for Twitch and YouTube, because originally I had only the horizontal display, and it was making, like, YouTube Shorts and TikTok pretty much impossible. Let's see, can I get source? Yeah, I have no idea how to even get... I have no idea how to even put the Twitch. Let's see, alerts and widgets. What would be cool is if I could put Twitch and YouTube. No. No. Widgets. No, come on. Oh, no. Yeah, Streamlabs. First of all, this is my default Streamlabs, Ultra. Is it Ultra? Whatever, like, the paid tier of Streamlabs is. I'm, super, super dumb at this. So... I really feel like this could be more intuitive, because, like, if you're, like, basically brain dead like I am when it comes to this stuff, it's super hard to understand, like, where to do any of these things. Like, how do I make the chat? So it says right here that it's got, Twitch and YouTube is what should be showing up in my chat. I can't see that at all. I don't want it to be boxed, I want it to be clean. Save settings. Yeah, so I have no idea if that's even actually doing what I want it to be doing right now. I pretty much had to figure out setting this stuff up on my own. And, like, if I'm having to set all of this up on my own, like, usually, in my experience, being a dumb technology girl, if you don't understand how to set something up and you pay for it to sort of be set up for you, like, if I paid someone to set this up for me, they would just kind of low-key do it for me, or have, at the very least, kind of like an idiot-proof setup. And unfortunately, I don't believe that this setup is idiot-proof, as witnessed by, well, like, can't figure out how to read YouTube and Twitch chats. The multi-stream chat log is just, like, not multi-streaming right now. I can't even see Twitches in the stream chat at all, unless I click on exclusively the stream for Twitch in OBS. And then I had to sort of, like, ham-fistedly kind of figure out how to put all of the sources and stuff in here, which I kind of vaguely remember from, like, I don't know, 10 years ago trying to do this whole setup. So at least that stuff hasn't really changed all that much. And I used to do a lot of work in Premiere Pro, so it's, like, sort of makes a little bit of sense how it's kind of laid out here. But as far as, like, user, as far as, like, ease of usability, this is not the vibe. So, like, I can't test it doesn't appear as though I can test my chat on OBS, which is not cool. I would like to be able to, like, see what my chat looks like before I go live to make sure that everything's where it needs to be and everybody can read this, because it would suck to film, like, 3 hours of this and then, like, not have any chats at all go through, which is probably going to be the case with this. And, I mean, the layout part is, I'm pretty sure the layout part on this is pretty much as close to intuitive as it's going to get. You pretty much just, like, pick the layout that you like on OBS, and then you import it, and then you have to, like, I guess calibrate it for your screen and stuff like that. So that part is cool. I can see now after the, like, 3rd or 4th time that I've tried streaming that if you go to YouTube, which, by the way, this isn't even the YouTube that I would ideally like to stream from. This is just the one that I have the most subscribers to. So if you subscribed to my YouTube, that's super kind of you, super sweet, but I am actually trying to stream exclusively from my author YouTube, which is at Birdflock Official, BYRDFLOCKOFFICIAL, and that one's going to be the writing YouTube. So if you guys could follow that one's going to be exclusively, like, writer business. Riley Bird Official is kind of my, like, dick around one, but I'm utilizing the fact that I can go live on there to create this content. So I'm going to be uploading these lives to the Birdflock Official one anyway. So the moment I have the minimum required 100 followers on there, I'll just be going live on, like, the appropriate YouTube. And that goes the same for my TikTok. So I can't stream on TikTok because at BirdWrites, BYRDWRITES, is my writing TikTok, but I don't have the appropriate amount of followers on there to go live with the stream key. So it's, like, a huge pain to be able to put my content up on there. So once all of the pieces are in the correct places, then I'll be able to just have everything pretty much be, like, cross-platform like that, and you guys can just go to whichever platform you prefer. But unfortunately right now it's, like, kind of, like, a little bit in all the wrong places. So it would be super handy if I had, like, a bunch of, like, bots to just follow those, but 1, I don't even know if that's allowed, and 2, I wouldn't even know how to go about doing that in the first place, as you can see from the lack of technological understanding in this stream. So we're going to do our best. We're going to write the book, and hopefully, this improves over time. So I can't promise that it's going to improve very quickly, but either bear with me or have someone yell at me to fix these problems, because essentially we're running right now sort of the Dumb Bitch Olympics, and I'm trying my very best not to get gold, or to get gold, depending on which one of those would be preferential, I suppose. Oh, I have so many red notifications on it. What does dropped frame rates mean? I have... Ugh. Somebody please tech encyclopedia me what any of this stuff means. But anyhow, so the YouTube that I'm currently live on, needs to be amended to Bird Flock Official, BYRD, FLOCKOFFICIAL. So that one is the one that I'm going to put all of my writing stuff on the moment I'm able to do that. So that is the one to follow for writing stuff. The other one is essentially going to be kind of a dead account. Unless I have like sketches or something, I guess I'll put those on there. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. And then, oh no, I think I broke all of the links to my website because I tried to make everything consistent. Dang, technology strikes again. Okay, so, yeah. Back to dashboard. Oh, Twitch. Twitch, why you do me like that? Oh, that was nice. So I have to have merch on OBS? I'm so confused. Oh, let's check the time, guys. Where are we at? We are nearly to hour 2 of me not touching my manuscript. You guys need to believe me. You really do. I thrive under the harshest of conditions, and the conditions are too optimal, so... Where's it out here? What are we doing? OBS. OBS, figure out your life. Figure it out. Okay, so while that goes, let's see here. Did I miss corn salsa? Okay. I set my bowl of roasted corn salsa down amongst the others at the kitchen table, only to realize there were no others. Just a few grocery store tubs sweating through their plastic, and a party-sized bag of chips. Tortilla chips. Leaning against a jug of neon orange soda, the salsa I'd made, fresh corn, roasted until it caramelized, chopped cilantro, lime, and a pinch of smoked paprika, stood out like it had overdressed. This needs to be folded, so I remember to okay. Please, dear God, make this scene palatable. Oh, it was close. That's... Oh, yeah, I was off by a letter. Oops. Okay. I'm greeted by another one of the partygoers. Jules, right? It's as if she's the only girl they talk about, and my hair is brunette, not black. She's pale as a ghost, just like Ashley, though at least Jules is the type to carry a parasol in the sun, so who knows her true complexion. Do we really look that similar? I couldn't help but compare it to gatherings I'd been to at Darius. He had this way of lighting up a room, like someone that had cracked a window and let the sun pour in. Even if you don't know anyone, Darius made you feel like you belonged, circling the room, pulling you into conversations, making space for everyone to shine. You left those nights feeling a little bit brighter just for having been near him. There was none of that here. This room felt dim in every sense of the word, like everyone had calcified somewhere around 20, and never made it past the glory days of graduation parties and cheap beer. It wasn't nostalgic, it was stagnant. And the more I looked around, the more obvious it became that no one here was really interested in showing up for anyone else. I sank into the couch, phone in hand, and told myself I'd give it an hour, just long enough to not seem rude. I resigned myself to scrolling on my phone on the couch for the remainder of the scheduled hour that I planned on being here, which went by excruciatingly slow. I decided to leave early, and as I stand, Ricky notices me, and he carries in a tray of meats from the grill. He eyes my corn salsa conspiratorially, like he can sense the planning behind it to overshadow his dish for the event. I wonder if he intentionally doesn't introduce me to his other guests, or if my appetizer was just too much for him to swallow in the wake of my canceled wedding reservations. The moment is tense in a way that I can't recall where it began, but whatever friendliness between us had hardened and crumbled into whatever this was. The whole of the divide between us exhausts me, and thankfully the timer on my phone begins to chime. I shrugged sheepishly at Ricky and made my exit, though not before I was pleased to hear somebody raving about the salsa as I let the door snick shut in response. The night with Darius is like a dream by comparison. His mother is sweet, Maul is doting on her like a puppy, which is odd to see given his rough exterior. The fireworks crackle overhead as we lounge on a picnic basket I brought along. I need to extend that scene. To emphasize the found family aspect of the relationship, where Ren feels more complete when Darius is around, which leads her to profound feelings of joy and lingering bouts of sadness as she recalls every other interaction she's had with her family and friends, becoming a depressing reminder of the loneliness that clings to her like mildew in a vacant house, drafty and damp from misuse. Ooh. Yeah, this caffeine is buzzing. I probably should have eaten something instead of just taking the equivalent of an espresso shot. Soldier on. Scrolling through photos from Ricky's party later on in social media, I realize I'm conveniently absent. I look further back into the events and outings that I knew I attended. No photos of me there either. Not one. It's worse than feeling erased. It's more like they had never meant to include me in the first place. The thought makes me sick. That needs to be bolded so I can go back. I booked a gig outside of the city in a nice little park that was hosting a small festival, and despite my reservations, I decided to post a few adverts on my personal page. Ricky and a few of the other guys from his clique RSVP'd, and I wonder, stupidly, if this was their way of apologizing for the lukewarm welcome on the 4th. Then the night of the event comes, and I don't see any of them. It's not a huge festival, and my set is scheduled closer to the evening lineup, so I wait, hoping, watching. Then I feel stupid. That could be more impactful. I wrote half of this, like, right before bed the other day, and so this is just, like, low-key a fever dream. It's like writing with multiple personalities, and one of them is an idiot. More impactful. So I basically have to write notes to myself like I'm in Memento. Okay. I also have like a bunch of things open at once, which is not great for remembering where I'm supposed to be at. Okay. Stupid for thinking they'd show, stupid for thinking anything had changed. Ricky and I used to have conversations about things like this back when we lived together. I'd open up about my mom and how she iced me out of a lot of social gatherings in high school on some weird power trip. Back then, he'd say things like, if we'd have known, we would have come to get you. His fantasy of rescuing the princess from the dragon, always easier to romanticize than to act on. And yet, when it actually came down to it, when he had actually had the opportunity to be supportive, to show up and be an actual friend, he was nowhere to be found. The only person that had ever actually showed up to rescue me was Ashley, and even she wasn't here now. The feeling sits sour in my stomach until I receive a text as I'm wrapping up chords well after midnight. Ricky. Can't ditch the boys for your little party. Brain check? I regret even setting the table down to read it. All those feelings of shame and disappointment come rushing in like an open floodgate. I feel stupid all over again, wanting acknowledgement, for hoping for the attention of these losers. Darius' voice fills my mind. They're not your friends, Ren. They're just people who happen to be around when you're becoming who you are. With renewed fury, I fire back a text of pure apathetic venom. That doesn't make any sense. Why did I write that? Bold. This doesn't make sense. Venom is not apathetic. It's corrosive. Close enough. How did I spell sense wrong, but corrosive correctly? Who knows? Oh, okay, so I need to get out of there. Still loading. What the frick? Okay. Need to switch back to guys only. What's something a girl texts you that absolutely gets you? Toxic text that you still think of later. So, the lead into that prompt is the scene that I just read to you. So basically, the main character has had a... put that to the front there. The main character sent out an RSVP to an event she's at. Her quote-unquote friends said they were going to go there. They didn't go there. And they basically kind of, like, snarkily drunk text her, like, oh, sorry we didn't make it. And at this point in the story, she's had enough. This is, like, the third or fourth instance that, that the reader in the book would be aware of, where they just, like, drop the ball friendship-wise. Like, they're not being very supportive. They're prioritizing kind of shittier friends, to be in the main group of the friends. And she's, like, the most reliable, the most sympathetic, and she just, like, isn't part of the main group for whatever reason. So she's had enough, and this is, like, her villain arc moment, where she's just like, you know what? Go fuck yourself, basically. And I need to expand my brain to be able to write something super viciously cutting that would make a guy very upset. Something that, if he did choose to go to therapy, would get brought up. Something he would think of for years. Like, anytime he thinks to himself, like, oh, such and such would like this, and then he thinks about this moment, and he's like, goes into either a rage or, like, spirals into a depression. And then everybody's like, what's wrong, dude? If they even ask. Which is kind of the whole concept here. So basically, this guy is prioritizing people that suck because they're easy to be around. Because it turns out losers, like, are always kind of available. And because he has, this character specifically has an innate fear of, like, being alone, like, he can't just sit with his own thoughts. So he just has surrounded himself with essentially, like, yes men and bums, so that he doesn't have to, feel like anyone will ever potentially abandon him. But these people are all terrible friends. They don't care about him, they don't really celebrate his successes, and they're really only around as long as the booze is flowing, and they're all stagnated in high school. So that, that's his character. And that is the dialogue thing that I'm essentially stuck on in chapter 20. And then chapter 22, oh, okay, so I need to rewrite the dialogue for that as well. So next scene, so the main character texts this guy back, and she just sends this, like, vicious text message to him. And she doesn't even check to see if he responded, because he doesn't respond. This is the farewell tour for this thing. Like, he is so rattled by this text message that he never speaks to her again. But he doesn't block her, because if he blocked her, then if she texted him in the future, it would be like, this number cannot be found, or whatever it says when people block you. He just, like, shell-shocked, like, can't respond. And then this is the thing that, like, pops into the back of his mind in the future when he's, like, been drinking or whatever, and he recalls her. I mean, you know, like, he would be... A scenario where he would recall this would be, like, he'd be in the grocery store and he'd, like, pick up, like, I don't know, a can of, like, green chilies or something like that, and he'd be like, oh, I wonder what the recipe was from whatever when so-and-so would make us enchiladas or something like that. And he would have this moment because they basically were, like, attached at the hip for, like, years because they were roommates. And not like they were roommates, but, like, they were roommates. And so he spent, like, a lot of time with her, and he would be thinking, like, oh, you know, he would pick something up, or somebody would say, like, yo, how's blah, 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 and it would just take him back to this moment and just either fill him with renewed fury or depression, because it's just, like, that was such a violent takedown that he's just, like can't really process it. So anyway, next scene. Let's see here. Where are we at? So that's the first scene that we need to do the dialogue for. If you guys help me out of this dialogue jam, I'm fully writing you into one of these romance novels. You're going to be a character in one of these romance novels. You're going to get to be maybe an extra, maybe a lead, who knows. that will be your reward for solving this. Or you could just be like, haha, I helped you write that book. If you chose to apply for the position of being my nemesis. So let's... Yes. I forgot why I even set this timer. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing every 3 minutes. Anyhow, back to here. Next scene. Okay, so the main character has to go meet with her mom for lunch. And her mom is this, like, horrible corporate baddie turned absolute shrew. And okay. For the first time in what felt like ages, my mom scheduled a meeting with me. Well, not a meeting per se, a lunch. Apparently she'd taken a job offer in another state and wanted to gloat. So being that she'd soon be thousands of miles away from me, rather than ignoring me from somewhere in the tri-state area, I figured I could begrudge her a few hours of my time for a farewell send-off. I'd already decided I wouldn't be visiting her once she left. In the few instances I cleared my schedule to spend time with her since moving back, I always ended up playing the role of a hostage, somehow rendered without a vehicle and forced to sit through her increasingly unhinged rants about how my father was better off dead and how he'd stolen her youth, and on ad nauseum. I was just 2 blocks from the cafe when my phone buzzed in my pocket like a live hand grenade. I answered to the sound of my mother's overtly lilting voice, too sweet, too false. She was already seated, clearly feigning humanity. She had this charming little game she liked to play, where she'd sometimes give me the wrong meeting time, 30 minutes off, early, and then call as if I was running late. I started arriving 15 minutes ahead of time to disarm that tactic, but even then she'd scold me for having nothing better to do than to wait around for her. Never mind that if I so much as attempted to decline her invitation, she'd leave a scorched earth voicemail about disrespect and abandonment. Luckily, I'd reached a point in my life where I no longer needed her signature to make a purchase or sign a lease. This behavior... I should just make this bigger instead of trying to struggle through reading this from super far away. I promise my eyes aren't bad. I'm just a little bit verbally dyslexic. Which... oh god. I probably wrote this in the wrong text again. Yeah, this is in Charter. I probably should have written this in this dyslexia font, which I just now noticed was a thing, and it would probably make it easier for me to not mess up these words. So, sorry for the popcorn reading moment. If any of you guys know what that is, it probably takes you back. Okay, there we go. Luckily, I'd reached a point in my life where I no longer needed her signature to make a purchase or sign a lease. This behavior was not something I intended to endure past this interaction. Hi, darling, I've been waiting. I ordered you a coffee. Of course she had. She knew full well I didn't drink coffee. Not even Ashley had managed to convert me. I preferred tea, but this was one of her favorite power trips, ordering me something I wouldn't like, and then performing offense when I didn't accept it with gratitude. Just left the parking garage, I said. How's Pilates? The line went quiet. Wrong dialogue option. Figures. I'm off Pilates, she said with eventuality. The word sharp. Javier decided to shack up with Cynthia. The slut. She hissed the word like it might infect the phone line and spoke in full volume. I rounded the corner. There she was, seated at the patio with her sunglasses perched like a crown. A wicked queen holding court. I would never last as an audiobook narrator. A wicked queen holding court, stirring her caramel latte like a potion. A modern-day witch, but not the kind whispered about in old fairy tales that stole away children. No. If only they knew she was far more interested in their husbands. I vaguely recalled Cynthia being another instructor, married too. Not that that was an issue. My mother had never once been bothered by the existence of a spouse. Suffice to say, her morals were flexible if they benefited her directly. After all, she'd already broken up. God, I should just let you guys read this. But the ARC reads for this aren't available until I finish the last 5 chapters and epilogue. And the moment I do that, you guys can read this book for free and just tear into me about it. But you guys have to, until then, you guys have to bully me into finishing these chapters. It is imperative that I meet my June deadline. And I think that the firm deadline is June 20th, I think, for this book specifically. Excellent, it's Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty, did you do adventures? Here, one sec.
No runs down.
Yeah, I think the salmon in there is orange. And the rest are tuna fish. Oh no, it's Mr. Poison Taster. Mr. Poison Taster would like to. He's such a toad. Sorry. Brother, may I have your tuna fish? It's ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Well, I've been watching a lot of I've been watching a lot of historical dramas and apothecary diaries, and I'm starting to think that the cat's no Japanese, because now our chunkiest little orange cat has decided that he is the designated poison taster for his skinny twin brother. He is 13 pounds and he needs to be 10. He's naughty. So now he has an excuse to eat his brother's wet pate, which is super naughty, but very endearing and adorable. They're all going on a diet. Well, except for Fatty, who is unironically the skinniest cat we have. He is 11 pounds and he should be closer to 15. But he is persnickety and only likes salmon pate or very fancy tuna fish. Because of course he does. So, I vaguely recalled Cynthia being another instructor, married too. Not that that was the issue. My mother had never once been bothered by the existence of a spouse. Suffice to say, her morals were flexible if they benefited her directly. After all, she had already broken up at least one marriage under the pretense of being misunderstood, and then framed the whole thing like she'd been swept up in a torrid, ill-fated romance, manipulated into the affair by the puppeteering of a husband. She liked to frame the past like a monologue in a one-woman show, tragic, noble, endlessly written. And the dialogue here is ass. So, reword dialogue to be more consistent with milk toast. That's hyphenated, right? Father figure. Okay, we're going for attaining of the shrew aspect here to round out that scene. It was the one time in her life that her bluff had been called, and she'd never forgiven him for it. So basically, the mother, in like a BPD fit of nonsense, asked for a divorce from the milquetoast father figure in this scene, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll sign the paperwork," and she's like, "What?" And it's like, basically, I'm trying to conjure up sort of the image of like the Wizard of Oz, where the Wicked Witch gets like melted in a bunch of water, and she's like, "No, agreeing to the divorce settlement, my weakness." So I need to write that out. I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I write this. She's like a hateful shrew with Pilates arms. Like, I don't even know what that means. I've never been to a Pilates class in my life, but she seems like the kind of corporate baddie that would do Pilates. So I need to rewrite that. Anyway, it was the one time in her life that her bluff had been called, and she'd never forgiven him for it, or me for remembering it. From across the street, I caught sight of her, bracelets glinting, posture too perfect, lattes steaming in her claw-tipped grip. Her mouth was pulled tight, caught somewhere between a sneer and a pout, seconds from a meltdown. The kind she'd later reframe as someone else's cruelty, the kind I'd be blamed for. And I wasn't about to repeat history. "You know what?" I said. "Do you have the time?" She sounded annoyed. "It's 2:07. Why?" I feigned surprise, crisp and theatrical. 2:07? And then I hung up. Maybe it was childish, but I was past caring. I flipped off the notifications, slid my phone back into my bag, and sighed like someone shedding armor. My eyes landed on a mid-century cafe. A mid-century coffee house I'd missed in my anxious haste. The space looked soft, relaxing, in a faux corporate way. Crossing the threshold, I was met by a barista with space buns, a nose ring, and a genuinely kind face. I ordered a chai tea with pumpkin cold foam, and the first sip felt like a soul reboot. The hour was wrong, my rhythm was off, and my mother knew I wasn't a morning person, and had dragged me out into the sun, out of pure domination disguised as brunch. But in this moment, with cinnamon on my tongue, and the distance between us, I felt more like myself than I had in weeks. I drained my cup before I even reached the car and debated circling back when... Ashley? The name burst unbidden into my mind. My body locked. My hands tightened around the cup. Across the street, a silhouette, just familiar enough to break me open. I couldn't see her face. I didn't need to. The blood had already left mine. My hands fumbled with the cup, trying to toss it into the trash next to the railing, but I missed. My body, acting without permission, followed. The railing was low, decorative, meant to keep foot traffic off landscaping, not built for stability, not built for moments like this. I fell. The landing was sharp, sudden. The pain hit first, sharp, white-hot, all through the base of my hand, but it wasn't until I rolled to my side and looked up that the real ache settled in. It wasn't Ashley. Of course she wasn't. The woman who'd broken my bones without even touching me was older, shorter, with a different posture and a purse that Ashley would never be caught dead wearing. I stared at her long enough to feel stupid, long enough to feel everything. She didn't even notice me, because why would she? I lay there a moment longer than I should have, letting the embarrassment bloom under pain. It was worse than the fall. Not that it wasn't Ashley. I'd already had that moment 100 times. No, what gutted me was the part of me still wanted it to be her, desperately. Pathetically. Even after all this time, after all the silence. Even now, laying on the ground with my wrists swelling and dignity cracked in half, I was still looking for her. The urgent care was the color of dry toast. Every surface either laminated or scrubbed sterile. It reminded me of those sepia-toned photographs of old asylums, and I started to wonder if I was headed for a padded room as I filled out the intake form with my non-dominant hand. The doctor was fine, polite, slightly rushed. He pressed on the joint and winced on my behalf. Well, he said, peeling off the glove, it looks like you have a distal radius fracture. Nothing too complicated, but you'll be in a cast for about 3 months. I nodded like I understood, like I wasn't already panicking about how this was going to affect my only stream of income, which unfortunately relied heavily on that very specific and suddenly useless hand. It'll be resin, so no worries about water damage, he added, trying to keep the tone light. You can still go swimming or hit the beach, no reason to miss out on the season. You'll barely have to think about it. I smiled, but it didn't reach my eyes. He smiled back as if we were sharing some quirky summer injury moment. No need to avoid the pool or the beach. Go enjoy the season with your friends. I felt my face drop, and hoped he wasn't too absorbed in typing notes to notice. I hoped he couldn't see how lonely I was. No idea I hadn't been invited to either of those things in years. And with the way the year was going, I doubted I ever would be. And then chapter 22. That one's pretty much done. It's so hot in here. Or once again, maybe it's just what is a normal amount of caffeine? What is the amount of caffeine in a cup of coffee? Oh. So this is like more. Is 200 milligrams of caffeine a lot? Recommended upper limit. Ooh. That's why I feel kind of loopy. Caffeine. Those are pretty good, actually. That explains why my resting heart rate is like 95 right now, though. Not great. Okay. There we go. My neck is tight. Okay. So now we're on chapter... That one's probably that's a good one to have right now. Chapter 21. Place to land. Maybe I didn't trust CZ, but when someone handed me a parachute, I finally started thinking about more than just the fall. When I broke my wrist, Darius swooped in to dote on me. He helped me set up my phone with voice commands so that I could text him if I needed anything while he was out. And he all but insisted that I stay with him while I recovered, though I refused to move in with him outright. It seemed all too soon, and my past history of dating all my boyfriends switched up the moment that we ended up on a shared lease. I liked the freedom of my own place, albeit stubbornly with my rent hike and the potential eviction if I couldn't figure out my money in the next few weeks. What's our storyboard here? 2 paragraphs. I wrote 2 paragraphs of storyboard for this, but I wrote, like, basically its own chapter of itself. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It shows me that I wrote... Oh, it shows me when I wrote these. Oh, man. That's starting to make a lot more sense. I wrote that at 2:11 in the morning. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. What about chapter 22? Okay. Character progression. Chapter 23. That one's fun. A girl from work breaks up with her toxic ex. She vents to Ren, and it takes her in a trip down memory lane. Flashback episode. Nice. Oh, man. I need to write the flashback. Okay, so remember earlier when I was talking about how I need to go back to chapter 3, which is already perfectly written, and put... how long is this chapter? I was averaging about 3,000 words a chapter, I think. Yeah, so that's about 3,000 words for that chapter. Sitting under just 2.5. So I could probably get that flashback done in like 1,000 words or less. And then that chapter will be golden. And then that will mean that I have chapters 1 through 16, 17, chapters 1 through... We'll go, chapters 1 through 18 and a half will be done, which is... Let's do the math on that. 18.5 divided by 26. That's 70% of the book completed. And then so that's 70% of the book completed, which means I have 30% of the book to complete by June. And every Monday and Friday we're going to write. And you guys are going to bully me into finishing this book by June. Maybe not June 1st. I won't hold myself to that because that's insane. But we will complete this book by, I think the latest that I have on here to finish it is June 20th. But we're not gonna wait till June 20th. We're gonna finish it by at least the first or second week of June. And then I will go back through, format the entire book, and do some light editing. And then we will publish it. This book will be published in June. That's what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna bully me until I complete the task. We're gonna do it. And then July, we're gonna party. Because what I like to do when I complete a book is take about a month and a half off and then just like party in the USA about it. And then I immediately launch into writing another book. So when I wrote Bite, the vampire romantasy book, I started that book in October and I finished it, I think, around the second week of December, which does not include formatting it. And then I took all of the rest of December and January off to play League of Legends like a NEET. And then I formatted that book and I sent the drafts in to the editor, who did an amazing job on the cover of that. Let's bring up the cover of that book one more time if you guys haven't seen it yet. Nope, that one's the next book we're writing. So this is, let's see, where's my camera at? This is Bite, my vampire romantasy book. I still have some ARC Read spots available for that book, depending on where you're watching this. It's either in my channel or bio. There's definitely a link there. I still have quite a few ARC Read positions on that because I had to open a second. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, got a call. Yes, hello? Hello? Yes, what is it, love? I did not make rice. Do you want me to make rice real quick? Yes. Detective Snarf is on the case. Okay. I'll get you some rice going. Did you get a chance to ask about the novel? What did she say? How far in is she? Hell yeah. Yeah, it is a big book, but it's not a big book. So nice. Yeah, everybody says it's good, but nobody tells me the parts of it that suck. There's gotta be parts of that book that suck. Like, there has to. Editors are so stingy. Like, they keep everything so close to the vest. Like, I wish more people did, yes, timer. I wish more people did, like, progressive reports, like, tell me the first fifth of the book, and then, you know, 2/5 and then 3/5 or whatever. Yeah, but editors don't even do that stuff. Like, they do it all in one go now, too. It's the weirdest job ever. Okay. Well, I will start a pot of rice while Mr. Kitty monitors the stream. Okay. Love you too. Bye. Alright, BRB guys, I'm going to start a pot of rice, and I will be back in, like, 5-10 min. Under 10 mins, jeez. Probably closer to 5 minutes, so grab a drink, grab a snack, and I will be right back. hello, welcome back. Mr. Kitty has apparently abandoned his post and is now laying on my blue blanket like a complete layabout. You're layabout, Mr. Kitty. I feed you tuna fish and you give me nothing. That's not true. He lets me snuggle him like a little teddy bear. He's such a good boy. Okay, now that I've had 2 days worth of caffeine, you're going to switch to carbonated water. Because I like to pretend like I'm drinking soda to trick myself into drinking maybe not so much water, but kind of closer to water. Water's yicky, but you should drink at least 4 liters of water a day, I'm pretty sure. Which I do not. If you haven't drank any water, you guys should take a sip of water right now, immediately. Okay, so, do I just, like, have no... Weird. There we go. I feel like there's like more than a 5-minute delay on the YouTube. I wonder if I can fix that. Hold on. See if I can fix that delay in chat right now. Or, oh, not that one. No. Okay. In YouTube. Oh man. My computer is so hot right now. Settings. Playback and performance. About settings. Move channel to your Google account or a different brand account. You can move your channel to your Google account or to a different brand account. What? What does that mean? Account. How do I... Channel status or features. Upload. Perfect. General. Channel. Basic info. Permissions. Community closed. Where? Content. Live. Settings. Is there no way to like change the settings for lives, like so that it's not massively delayed? Is that not a thing? Or are lives just always behind? Then how do you get your real-time chats? So how to get YouTube and Twitch chats at the same time? You have both features and you can choose simultaneous. Oh, that must be an OBS. Okay, so maybe settings, advanced, no, virtual webcam, stream, general. I feel like this is difficult. I feel like this is a support problem. YouTube chat. To stream on YouTube. Talk Studio. And Twitch. Import chat file. I have no idea. If anybody has any way to If anybody has any way to sync up the chat for YouTube and Twitch, let me know, because I'm not getting any of the YouTube chats until like way late. Crash recording. Chat settings. Notifications. That's crazy. Yeah, I really wish OBS and Streamlabs were kind of like idiot proof, but living proof that they are not right here, because I still have yet to figure out how to do a lot of this stuff. It seems to me that I should be able to just click multi-stream right here and be able to see all of the things that you guys are sending, but it's just like not. Share stream link. Yeah, I don't. So I think there's like a huge delay on the YouTube chats, and I still don't know how to fix that. So I am working on it. I am working on fixing that. You know, where did we end off? Where did we end off? So, have you ever been to a birthday party where one of the children won't stop screaming because he's just a little attention and he's gonna grow up to be a... I can't remember how that little sounds. Okay. Alright. We got it, guys. We're gonna do it. Go in here. And we are going to write some chapters. Final chapters. Chapters. Okay. When the bottom falls out. When the bottom falls out, when the bottom drops out. When the bass drops. Okay. There's a ton of dialogue at the end of chapter... Let's see... At the end of chapter 19, there's a bunch of dialogue that I need to go through and approve. Gotta say, this Watermelon Starburst, does not hit as hard as the Strawberry Starburst. The Strawberry Starburst is really good. 10 out of 10. Cherry, close second. Watermelon, third tier. Which I would say that Watermelon as the Starburst candy itself would probably be second tier. But this is third tier. Third tier beverage. I'm not sponsored, so don't quote me on any of these things. Okay. I also considered dropping where the feedback ends, like the first 2/3 of it, I guess, into being an ARC read while I'm finishing it. But I'm not really familiar with if Booksprout punishes you for claiming a copy that you already have or not, or if that's just like solely at the author's discretion. Because I uploaded Byte like 4 times, because I did the first run through, and then I was like, okay, this is good enough for ARC readers. Like, there's some small grammatical errors and stuff like that, but I'll fix those for the book. So then I sent it out, and then I like couldn't just leave it alone, and so then it's available for pre-order on Amazon. I also have ARC reader spots still available for that in either my bio or channel, wherever you guys are watching this from. There we go. And so I have ARC readers available for that. The second book I am nearly finished with the publishing process on is Where the Feedback Ends. I have another 5 chapters to finish writing on this. And every Monday and Friday until the beginning of June, you guys can hop on here and bully me until I complete that, so that I can then release the ARC reader availability for you guys, so you guys can read that book totally for free. You don't have to buy it, you just have to leave me a review. Good, bad, otherwise. If you want to be my nemesis and say, this book sucks, I'm totally fine with that because then that leaves me room for improvement, which I love. I love being able to optimize systems. This is not optimized, so that presents a challenge for me, which I welcome. So if you guys want to read that book for free, bully me. I give you full permission to bully me to get that book out by June. And the very hard deadline for that is June 20th, but we're not going to wait till June 20th. We're going to get it written in the first 2 weeks of June for sure, and then the 3rd and 4th week of June, I will be formatting that to, because the formatting on that's going to be super easy for me. I'm barely inconvenient, so I'll get that finished, and then that'll be available for ARC reads. So you guys can read it totally for free. It is basically If Great Gatsby Met Nana, which if you guys are intellectuals, you will know both of those books, but if you don't, The Great Gatsby is a literary fiction novel by Scott Fitzgerald that I was obsessed with as a teen young adult. I've read it like 6 times, loved it, fantastic. And then Nana is something that I recently got into. It is a manga/anime series, and it's about these 2 girls that are obsessed with each other. One of the girls is kind of like a black cat moth chick vibes, and the other chick is kind of like golden retriever girl, obsessed with boys, girly girl vibes, and it really resonated with me, and I was like, oh, we're going to book about these things. And it's been really fun to write. It's basically about getting ghosted in a friendship and how you can spiral out from that, and it's been really cool to write, and I can't wait to finish it and for you guys to be able to read it. That's going to be really cool. And then the moment I finish that book, July, we're going to just party, and that'll be our reward. And then we'll jump right back into book 2, either book 2 of the Born in the Eternal series, Thirst, which is going to be a white-haired psychopath and a villainess, so that's going to be book 2. That's really fun. I've got quite a bit of storyboarding done on that book. And then I'm also working on a billionaire romance/found family book called Moon and Marble, which my art creators are trying to bully me into making that at least a duet novel, or 2 novels, one from the female main character's point of view and one from the male main character's point of view, which will be a spicier version. Because the first, the female main character is going to be a little bit more wholesome, with more of a slow burn romance kind of aspect to it. Whereas if I get fully bullied into it, the second book will be more of a like spicy like male yearning book. And the tentative cover right now, because I have to have a space folder cover at the very least of these, so that I can switch back and forth through these at like 2 in the morning when I'm trying to edit. So this is the tentative cover for the billionaire romance book that I will be working on as part of my next project. I did try and float a blonde main character that got vetoed immediately, so I promise I don't have something that had so much caffeine today, you guys. I have had very little of any real food, and I have been running almost exclusively on caffeine. Not intentionally. It's just these are delicious. These are delicious, and I needed energy. I didn't get to sleep until probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and my usual bedtime's around like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., but these stories possess me, and they won't let me sleep until I've written down all of my notes, and it is quite an exhaustive process. Also, our naughty orange boy cats decided to take my entire side of the bed and essentially kind of push me off of the bed, which is insane. They combined weigh about 30 pounds, and they bully me constantly, but I love them to pieces. So, yeah, so I'm floating the idea, potentially, if these girls get their pitchforks and torches together, they could potentially get me to write 2 books in the Moon and Marble series and make it a series, essentially. And I think for sure the first book is going to be Moon and Marble, because the main character's name is Diana, and she's essentially named after the goddess of the moon, because her mom is like a super big, like, mythology chick, mythology girly, and her adoptive sister calls her Moon, which is so sweet and so cute. I think you guys are really going to love it. And then the second book I would do in that series, should I go that route, would be probably Sun and Steel. So Sun being like, you know, there was that trend that went around like, oh, I tried to be the moon and then I realized I was the sun or whatever that was going on TikTok, which I don't really understand. Maybe it's the tism. I just don't really understand those trends very well. I have to have somebody like do a complete breakdown of those. And then the third book that they're also trying to get me to write, one of the girls that's reading my novels right now, she asked if I would do a spin-off series for Alice, their younger sister, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll write one for Alice, and then hers would probably be like stars and harps or something like that. Stars and, I don't know, notes on stars or something like that. So I would do a moon, a sun, and a stars, and then that would be the completed trio of those 3 books. Whereas for Bite, book 1 is, I try and do like an encapsulating theme with them. And with the Bite series, I'm going for like a tarot cover design situation. Did I show you guys the cover design for Bite? You guys can see it if you look it up. I have an ISBN and all that on it. But where... Did I download it? Is it on here? Did I put the overlay on here? I have where the feedback ends. Are you serious? Do I not have my cover on here? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So the cover for Bite. Come on. Don't mess up my formatting, you witch. So this is the cover for... Try and not get the glare. This is the cover for Bite. It's a play on the Hanged Man tarot. Don't look in my messy office, it's terrible. So the second book, Thirst, is going to be a rendition of the moon, and then the third book is going to have a hot Slavic daddy on the cover, on a throne with a crown, and that one is going to be the Emperor. So that's going to be the 3-book compendium on that one, and I am also working on potentially doing a prequel of that same character, like 100 years earlier or something like that, and then that'll like essentially be that series' Nightmare of the Wolf, as it were, where you go back and you see more monsters and more of how like the world used to be, and it's like such a juxtaposition from how it is now. There's a very scant amount of monsters and a very scant amount of magic, and that is something I could be bullied into in the future. I could very easily see that. And then I'm also working on potentially doing a spooky short story series, because I have a lot of those sort of building up, but they don't really have the legs that the current projects have on them. And I'm noticing now that I also have a Vegas romance, like a little short novella that I could write on that. But I have short story horror that is Plants That Eat People. That's iStalk. And that one I'm still working on expanding the universe for that, so that could be like a very short like sci-fi horror series. And then I have another horror series called The Grievance, which I would like to turn into potentially a graphic novel, which I lack the talent to do so on that. But these stories essentially possess me, and they hold so much power over me until I finally get this written. And it's really affecting my sleep schedule. Like, it's essentially like low-key a little bit of a reoccurring nightmare until I get these books like 80% of the way written. And then I can finally have like nice dreamless sleep instead of having to just like pontificate on these novels until I wake up startled and have to write something down in my Pages app. Does anybody else get that when they write, or is that a specific curse that I've acquired? So, it's been really productive because you have been very lax in bullying me into writing any of these chapters, but I feel like this is the first just chatting that I've tried out. Last time I was trying to do V Rising and do this, but I'm too chaotic to play video games and to write right now. But I think that as we sort of like cross some of these projects off the board, it'll become easier and easier. And maybe we'll just play video games like I did the first time, where I write the book, send the book out for editing and or publishing, and then we just like game for like a whole month straight, and I just tell you about all the cool stuff we did, and then we can just like relax with some cozy vampire game. Or I'm really loving the idea. Where's that? I think on my wish list. Where is it? So there is like it's constantly trying to show me Otome games, but I lack the Okay, show me. Are you for real right now? Are you not showing me my wish list games? cozy. Is it? Show me my... Okay. So, I have on here, cute cat simulator. I forgot I put that on there. So there's this game that's coming out that's kind of like Stardew Valley vibes, but it's called Vampire Rancher. And I feel like that would be a fun game to play while we're taking a break from writing as like a little treat. And then there's also a game coming out that's like very Witcher-esque. I think it's the same people that worked on CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 3. And that one is Blood of the Dawnwalker, and I'm going to play the shit out of that game. I'm going to play it so hardcore, you guys will lose your minds at how much I play that game. And then, I know The Witcher 4 is coming out, but I have, like, such mad beef with the way the Witcher series has gone recently. Like, the Netflix adaptation pissed me off a bunch. Wasn't a big fan of that. And because of the ill feelings that I have with how the Netflix series did The Witcher dirty, it made it, like, impossible to explain to my husband. He's like, what's going on? Because they tried to do time... I'm just... Brief rant about The Witcher. They tried to do time skips with characters that don't look like they age. Yennefer and Geralt are very long-lived characters. They live past the normal generational split of other characters in the series. So when you're time jumping, and in one scene, the king is a child, and in the next scene, the king is an adult, but the main character and the main love interest don't look fundamentally different, you're going to confuse a lot of the casual viewers of the show, unless you're, like, making a point to say, you know, Velska, 18, blah, 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 blah. Like, you need to either establish very early on that these characters are essentially, for the purpose of the series, functionally immortal, or essentially have a lifespan of elves. Like, Lord of the Rings did a really good job of that, by being like, these are elves, so Legolas can exist in The Hobbit and also in Return of the King, because he is super old but hot. And I think they did a good job of that. It's sort of like, oh, this is a specific race, but when you have two, like, humanoids and you don't explain that they're not aging, it makes it very confusing. And then they shoehorned Cirilla in, like, super early. Cirilla doesn't even come into the series until, like, 4 or 5 books in. It's insane that she would even be presented in the first season of The Witcher, let alone in, like, the first couple of episodes. It's very confusing to time hop around. And it just made it really irritating. Like, yay, The Witcher is super cool. And they're like, oh, isn't that something that you're super into? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm watching it, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is this? Like, why would they do that? Why would they do us so dirty like that? Anyway, I digress. For these reasons, I probably won't be playing The Witcher 4 until tons and tons of reviews come out on it, because I worry that they're going to kind of go the same route as, like, the Netflix Witcher, where they're just going to try and, like, retcon a bunch of shit into it, which I'm not really pleased about. The tism will be tisming, and I will not be pleased about that. But we will be playing Voyage of the Dawnwalker as soon as that's really available to play. And also, as far as, like, cozy games go, I'm gonna try and play Vampire Rancher once that comes out, because I think that that's gonna be kind of cool. I don't think that Stardew Valley and stuff like that is really my vibe. I played, what was it? Grimshire or something like that, which was kind of like a take, like some take on, was it Grimshire? We Happy Few, Left 4 Dead, Ark. I think that, oh, where is it? Life is Strange. I want to say it was just Grimshire. Greedfall. Is it not on here? Do I just not have? Crazy. But anyway, there's like a version of like a Stardew Valley-esque game called Grimshire, and you get to play as either a fox or a bunny, and I think there's a couple other animals that you can get if you get the full game rather than the tutorial version, and not tutorial, the demo version anyway. And that one's kind of got more of like a darker vibe to it, so I think that that's probably closer to the vibe of this channel and sort of this brand. So I don't think we'll be playing any really like girly pop games, but I'm gonna try and play games that are kind of like sort of on theme with the books that that I'm writing, or that we were writing at the time, just to kind of keep it sort of in the same theme. Like for example, Moon and Marble will probably be playing something that would be more like, you know, I like to listen to music that the characters might listen to music that might be, like, if you think in like a stagecraft mindset, that might be like the house music or like the background music of a particular scene I'm trying to write. And it really does help to kind of like get into the mind of like what you would be doing. And it does help write it. I basically like mainlined a bunch of like Witcher fight music and where like just dark, like vampy shit when I was writing Bite. Which also, if you guys want to listen to those playlists, you are welcome to do that. I have no idea how to share those. But if you guys want to like if you want to listen to the playlists while you're reading the books, I highly recommend it. It's as close to a soundtrack as I can get for you guys. I'm not sponsored by any of these artists, but I do think that they're super, super neat. Nice. And I really would like to. I think Spotify's actually updated so that now you can go through and like move the songs around in your playlists. Like, can I move the songs around? Edit details. Yeah, so what I would really appreciate, I don't know if Spotify does this or if anybody has any tips on how to do this in Spotify, or if I'm just going to have to make a new playlist and do it like sequentially. But I really did my best to try and have the music in order of like sort of like the rising action and stuff like that and the falling action. But at a certain point, I think what I was doing was I was doing a bunch of prep work at my day job and like adding this stuff like while I wasn't looking, and so some of the songs like go from like really high beats per minute to really low beats per minute, and it doesn't kind of mesh well with like how the story's going. My goal is to eventually have enough songs that you could just essentially like start Spotify while you're listening to the book, and then it sort of like loops or ends like when the book would naturally finish. That might be a little bit too tism for a lot of you guys. But that was my goal when I made these, and it made it really easy to write. And I sort of branched out and tried to make additional playlists for the characters themselves. So like kind of the vibe of Eric's boss, and then the vibe of Dimitri. Can't remember what last name I gave him, but it's written in the storyboard, guys. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with it. Thanks for watching the stream, you guys. I feel like this has been the best one yet. I really do, and I think that in the future I'm just going to do this just chatting, because I feel like the game, like trying to play the game and to try and kind of like organize what you guys have now clearly witnessed as a jumble of thoughts is an impossible task currently. Maybe as we start checking different writing projects off the list, that'll change. It'll become easier for me to kind of game and stream at the same time. But I just don't think I just don't think that's the vibe right now. So thank you so much for everybody that watched this, and hopefully everybody that watches this after it's gone live, this will sort of give you a little bit more of a peek behind the veil of writing these books, and hopefully it's been informative. And I am going to also post this on the correct YouTube, the Bird Flock Official, BYRDFLOCKOFFICIAL, which is going to be the correct YouTube. And the TikTok that is for my writing is at Bird Writes, BYRDWRITES. And the Twitch is correct. The Twitch is the correct one, and that one's just R_bird. I'm working on switching that to Bird Flock or Bird Writes, just so that it can be consistent. I feel really bad that I didn't pay attention to the branding very initially, which is so silly of me. I used to have to do that kind of stuff for work. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna try and make little adjustments and improvements, and hopefully this will be far less grueling for you guys to support in the future. But guys, I really appreciate it. And we're at 52, I think, subscribers as of right now on Twitch, which is awesome. So we're halfway-ish, a little bit over halfway, to our goal of 100 followers on there. And then what would be super duper cool is if I could get 100 followers on the correct YouTube, the Bird Flock Official, so that we can just stream to the designated writing channel, so everybody gets what they want. Because this current YouTube one is just kind of my thinking around YouTube, and it needs to be all in its designated little categories. But the official time of death for this stream is 3 minutes and 25-ish minutes, and I got almost no writing done. But I think that we made a lot of progress insofar as kind of introductions and looping you guys in on the projects that we're working on. If anybody has any tips on fixing the chat problem where I'm not able to see Twitch and YouTube, and I can't see that it's being recorded on OBS currently, just the native OBS. I'm not seeing it on here. If anybody has any streaming tips, I'm all ears. I have no idea how to do this, so I'm just kind of winging it, which doesn't seem like the ideal strategy. But I really feel like I should do some sort of send-off, but I have no idea what would be helpful for that. I didn't script hardly any of this, but I will be adding to, I think the prompts were really helpful. I think that is something that I'm going to expand on. And I'll have prompts for each of the books that we're writing on, and kind of because I can't figure out alerts, so this was kind of my solution to that. But thank you everyone, and I will be back. What day is today? Today is Monday. I'll be back on Friday. Saturday I have an event that I'm going to, so maybe I'll try and get you guys some behind the scenes footage of that. And yeah, I'll be adding to, I think the prompts were really helpful. I think that is something that I'm going to expand on. And I'll have prompts for each of the books that we're writing on, and kind of because I can't figure out alerts, so this was kind of my solution to that. But thank you everyone, and I will be back. What day is today? Today is Monday.